This is what happens when your son puts a beanie on your head. He thinks that's what it's supposed to look like. Anyways, hi everyone. I'm gonna take this off. So I won't be live with you, but I'm live with you, like in a recording. And I just wanted to let you know what you need to do for today. I will have given some of you feedback. I don't know how much I can get done tonight, but here is something that I noticed when I was giving feedback to students today in my B classes, right? So one of the things I need you to really pay attention to, and also need you to do and write in the he needs to be in the video apparently. Can you? Thank you. What you need to pay attention to is that you really use the rubric to grade yourself. Okay, just like you do when I give you a rubric to grade somebody else, or when a teacher does that, you do the same thing just for you. So here's what you do. You first of all need to look at this part over here, where it says, when it comes to the instructions for this assignment. So up here, this is essentially all that you need to do for the instructions, right? So you need to be detailed. You need to explain what the daily life of peasant, knight, noble, or king looked like, and also what duties they had and how that tied into their role in the feudal system. So what that means is for you, when you look at this down here, you would go through it by saying, okay, you mostly I always start in 5-6 because I think that's like pretty good effort, and then I go either to the left or to the right with my grade. And so I would say, okay, so I just wrote my thing, and it says you mostly followed the instructions. So remember, we just said instructions. Here is up here is these are the instructions, right? So was I detailed? So that's the first thing. Well, if there's a lot if you wrote a lot, then it was detailed, right? Explain what the daily life was like. Did I do that? Did I really explain whether there was daily life that this person went through, this peasant, this knight, this king, this noble? Did I do that? If not, then I would go down here and say, okay, so I guess I mostly followed the instructions because I didn't quite do the daily life. I did talk about, let's say, their role in the feudal system and the duties that they had, but I did not really do it as a daily life, all right? So you have to decide between this mostly followed and did not follow instructions completely. There's a slight little difference, but nevertheless there is a difference. If you did do all that, then you would fall into this category over here. You follow the instructions closely. All right. Then you continue. You go on. Your essay is detailed. Well, is my essay detailed, very detailed, or somewhat detailed? That's what you need to decide. So you would go, okay, I think I really wrote a lot. I did a lot of research. I brought everything in that I could find. So I would say I would give myself a very detailed. If you say, you know what, I tried to be detailed, but it's not like amazingly detailed, but it's pretty good, you would fall in here. And if it's somewhat detailed, then you should know if it's like relatively short, then you're probably going to land over here where it says somewhat detailed. Then you continue. Structure. Well, does the structure make sense? Is it well structured? Did it start out with maybe a general idea of what the life of a peasant, etc., looked like? And then you go into the day, the daily routine that they might have had based on your research? Or did you just write just in general everything and kind of like haphazardly put together? Then you would fall in either direction, right? Depending on how you did. And then you have to look at how did you do in your spelling and your grammatical mistakes. Well, if you say, hey, you know what, I did do the grammar thing, I did the spell check, etc. I maybe used Grammarly or whatever. I made sure that my grammar is correct, that my spelling is correct. Then you would fall over here. If you did like a once over, you kind of checked that you did capitalization correctly, then maybe that's here. If you have a lot of mistakes in spelling or whatever, then it might impact understanding. So this is why it's important that you actually read what you wrote, right? Read it a couple of times before you turn it in. All right, so now with all of this, I could say, okay, I got like one thing over here, but the rest would be over here, then you would land in a 6. If it's like nothing is over here and there's like something here, but then maybe 1 or 2 is over here, then you would land in a 5. All right. Then let's go down to our sources cited page. Some of you have had a hard time when it comes to like creating an actual page. So what I recommend is just create like an actual sources cited page by just starting a new page. You can go to insert page break, and then you can start like on a new page where you write sources at the top, and then you put everything in MLA style there. Now you look at your MLA style. Is this consistent? Does everything look the same? Perfect. Then you would probably land over there if it's consistent and if the source cited page is clean. So that means there's not a lot of junk on there. It's not a lot of, like, it's not confusing. It all looks the same. Then it would be clean. If it's mostly consistent, let's say you're missing a couple of things, maybe you don't know the author, but you didn't write unknown there, then it's mostly consistent, right? And then you also used 3 different sources, like it said here, not just 2. If you did 2, then it's over here you have used different sources, one of which might have been your own, or even down here, because if you did not use 3 sources, then you kind of land in the 1, 2 over here, right? And all of this impacts your final grade. And then you can decide what is the grade that I would like for this, because now I know, okay, I have something over here, something over there, somewhere in the middle, so I would give myself a 5 or a 6. Just be honest with yourself. It's a formative grade. You're going to take this and improve it because you're going to get the feedback. We're going to have a conversation about it, and then it will be better. But the first grade might not be the one that you want, and that's totally fine because nobody really turns something in that is perfect the very first time. Okay, so that's what you should do today. Look at this. If you're not done, then finish your essay, for crying out loud, guys. It's been like weeks. Turn it in. Even if it's not finished completely, just turn it in. Make sure that you grade yourself, that you add that. If you don't add that, then I can only give you a 0 because you don't tell me. So I would enter a 0 in Canvas. So please make sure you have that section, grade expectation, whatever you want to call it, and then we'll take it from there. Have an excellent day. I will see you on Thursday. Bye.